I would like to remind this Town Council that after the hijacking of the Portishead Residents' annual meeting by the Portishead Independent Political Party, leaving little time for the residents to speak, with many walking out in disgust and many walking out after raising their objections verbally, the man in the chairman's seat, you, Mr. Whitfield, actually said that another residents' meeting could be arranged because there was no time left for the residents. You just seem really confused about the residents' meeting tonight. Yes, that one, the annual meeting, is one in statute, and it's one that you have got to arrange. But you yourself said that we can arrange another meeting. Thank goodness for Heather Toms, who's put forward that way forward, and I agree with everything that Chris Clark has said, because at the moment, this Town Council is broken. It's broken by the controlling party, and it needs to move forward. And I believe we've got good councillors, but you've got to keep to the same standards of behaviour that you expect from the public. You've got to do it yourself. Now, on the 19th of June 2024, yes, there was a full Town Council meeting in this hall. I think it just had 3 members of the public present with 1 online. So few because the Portishead Residents' annual meeting, which was hijacked, deterred many from ever attending council meetings again. And in fact, I said I would never come along to another one. Partly as well because I know that we lost the 2 best councillors that we have had in this council for 5 years, and that was Councillor Aldridge and Churchill. The Community Matters meeting, however, is a safe environment. I feel quite able to go along to that meeting because it feels to me that the chair is listening, she is professional, and she allows people to talk. Of course she wouldn't allow poor behaviour, nobody should allow poor behaviour. But we have it at these full council meetings, and the common factor is that the full council meetings aren't chaired by Councillor Blackmore. I wish she was chair of this Town Council. After watching the video of the meeting on the 19th of June, it seems that residents do need some protection, and it is an unsafe environment. I felt it tonight. When you pinpointed me out, I felt unsafe. I felt I was being bullied by you, Mr. Whitfield. So protection from verbal abuse is important. I said previously, when we lost our council leaders, that I felt, no, I won't come along again. But it seems from that, looking at that video, I feel as if I do need to come along to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen to any other residents. And also, Mr. Smith on that evening rightfully said to you, when you tried to throw him out of the meeting, he said, no, I won't go because I've done nothing wrong. And that is a fact. He had done nothing wrong. He was trying to correct misinformation that had been given at that residents' meeting by your party leader. He was also given it because at a previous Town Council meeting, residents had been told that the agenda had been broadened out so public participation could cover topics that were not on the agenda. Fact. Yet you consistently said at the last meeting, no, you can't speak on items not on the agenda. You called it off-piste, whatever that may mean. But Ken Smith did nothing wrong. Paul Mortby did nothing wrong. They were polite. They didn't shout at you. They didn't shout at Mr. Johnston, but he shouted back. And when I saw Ken Smith actually after that meeting, I wasn't at the meeting, but I saw him afterwards, and I was so saddened by what had happened. For someone to speak to someone like a resident who's vulnerable. Now, you might not consider him vulnerable, but up against you and the vice chairman, he was a very vulnerable man, but he was strong enough and able enough to say, no, I've done nothing wrong. Thank goodness he did. Now, your own Town Council colleagues stood by and watched that, Not one said this is out of order. That is where you have to make amends. You have got to start saying to each other, we can't allow that sort of behaviour going on in our town because it's wrong. We also can't allow councillors using social media to cause a furore that caused a lot of consternation, that led you to actually give out an apology. Because it confused people, it made people angry, and you've got a social media policy. And you actually say you're talking as a district council on that page of yours. Well, if you're talking as a district council, people think you're also talking as a town councillor. So I think what you need to have on there is that you're not speaking, which is that in your social media policy, town council social media policy, you need to make it clear you're not speaking as a town councillor. Because until you do, you'll start making people very angry by what is happening. And it's moderated by one of your colleagues. It's unbelievable, really, that it goes on. And can I just say, as a personal thing, anything I do outside this meeting, I'm not a councillor. I don't have to adhere to your code of conduct. But I have never, ever sat in this meeting. I've never sworn. I've never got angry. I've always raised things respectfully. You may not like what I've said. And in fact, when a previous councillor sat there, telling things that weren't correct, he was from a different political party, I stepped to my guns, because why should I let my town, where I've been born and bred, be lied to by any councillors? I won't allow it. And I'll always raise it respectfully. You may not like it, but I will continue to do it. But I will never allow you to bully or intimidate or harass anyone. And when I say you, I mean the council, ever again, because it was appalling. And people that watched it could not believe what was going on. And until you confirm now that the new behaviour policy is an extension of the code of conduct, there is nothing we can do about it. So could you please now just confirm to us that it's an extension, not an enhancement, an extension, so that people in future can take things to the monitoring officer and raise a complaint if they want to.